Wakey, wake! Hi!
That's the way we all remember Old Bill, from those Sunday lunchtime broadcasts and, of course, the television band shows as well. Those programs brought us, in sight and sound, not only the warm personality of Bill Cotton himself, but the show business know-how he'd learned from years of staging his band and singers, his comedy and fun in theatres throughout the country. The Variety Club of Great Britain honoured him with the title Mr. Show Business, but in earlier years, Bill Cotton had different ideals and directions for his music. In the early months of 1925, Bill Cotton was playing drums and leading a 5-man unit which he'd given the sumptuous title of the London Savannah Band at the Regent Ballroom in Brighton. It turned out to be a short-term engagement because he was offered a more inviting job at the Southport Palais in Lancashire. However, in Brighton, he'd met 3 musicians who were all to play, in various degrees, important parts in his future. One of them was violinist Sidney Lipton.
When Bill went off to Southport, the last thing he said to me was, Sid, he said, when your contract finishes here, do join me. He wrote to me to confirm this, and in his letter he said, and by the way, he said, if you can induce Joe and Clem to come along, he said, well and good. Clem Bernard, pianist, arranger, and Joe Ferry, the trombone player. Well, that's exactly what I did. I induced Joe and Clem to join me, and together we went to Southport. And I would say with great respect that this was really the beginning of Bill Cotton's career as a band leader. Bill left Southport to go to the Rialto at Liverpool. The management of Southport, much to Bill's annoyance, approached me and asked me whether I would take over the band. Well, I was an ambitious young man, and I agreed to do that. As I say, that really annoyed Bill and upset Bill. We fell out over that. Well, this was around about 1927. And to my surprise, at the end of my contract there, despite the disagreement we had, he telephoned through and said, I'm going to London, I'm going to the Astoria London, how would you like to join me? And of course I was delighted, it was like coming back home. And off we went to the Astoria. From the Astoria, we went to the Locarno in Streatham, and Nat Gonella joined us. And I remember when Nat Gonella joined us, I didn't think he was the sort of player. Well, he certainly wasn't my sort of player at that time. It took me a long time to appreciate what Nat was. You know? But there you are. You see, Bill knew. He knew that Nat was right. Nat was right for him and right for the public. And Bill had that wonderful sense, you know.
I was at Brighton with Archie Alexander's band, and I'd been addicted by that time to the Armstrong cult, you see. And it was all our best numbers in this particular little band all featured me, you see. So Bill Cotton got the gen from somebody. So he came down one afternoon. We used to play tea dances then. Of course, Archie Alexander, wanting to show off his band, naturally, featured all our best numbers. They were me blowing the trumpet and singing. So, of course, Bill Cotton thought, well, this was... he happened to like it, you know. So I think the next day, or the same day, he offered me the job and I was away. In a week, joined him at the Locarno.
What was Bill like in those days? I mean, it was a dance band, but had he any aspirations towards his shows, things which he did later?
Well, I think he just wanted to become a sort of Jack Hilton somehow. And yet he didn't have the showmanship at all, you know. He never sort of wanted to wave his hands about or dance or anything then. So much so that I reckon that it was Bill Cotton that lost us the job at Ciro's club in London when we went there, because they'd had this, it was Noble Sissel's band, came from Paris. We went to Paris in their job, and they came to Ciro's in our job. And of course he was a great showman, and he's coloured anyway, he's halfway there. So of course when we came back after a month, we didn't mean a thing, just a bit of the furniture, you see. So I think they got at Bill, you know, to get him to say hello to the people even, or look at anybody was difficult. He would just stand there and give you the tempo and just stand and look at you. And so I think myself that he was to blame for losing us the job. So the band was good, no doubt about it, the band was good.
Bessie had affection that was simply wonderful, terrible, but Bessie couldn't help it any more than you could or I could. When she smiled, you were bound to fall, let fall. A boy kissed Bessie in the parlor one night. Why, oh, why did she always delight? 'Cause Bessie couldn't help it any more than you could or I could.
Double people, listen now, Bessie couldn't help it any more than you could or I could. No, Bessie couldn't help it, though she tried to be good, oh so good. She was ready to have some love, and oh boy, how that girl could love. Bessie had affection that was simply wonderful. Bob, Bob, beat me, oh, Bessie couldn't help it any more than you could or I could. Now when she smiled, you were about to fall. That's all, boy. Kiss Bessie in you eat one night. My, oh my, how she helped with delight. Bessie couldn't help it any more than you could or I could.
Bessie Couldn't Help It, a collector's recording that featured Nat Gonella's hot vocal and hot trumpet, and underlines his remark that the Bill Cotton Band in 1930 was good. But the pattern was about to change. About this time, Bill went down with a bout of rheumatic fever. The Ciro's engagement was terminated, and during this period, the whole brass section, Nat Gonella, Sid Buckman, and Joe Ferry, left to join Roy Fox.
Now, Bill never forgot that. He never forgot the three of us that we went off and left him. But we used to say hello to each other when we met down the street of Good Hope.
It was a tense time in the band's career, and it's also remembered by Dave Toff, today a well-known music publisher, but then manager of the Billy Cotton Band.
I think it was Joe Ferry came to see Bill and said that the brass section was leaving. They were joining a new band called Roy Fox. And despite the fact that Bill was ill with rheumatic fever at the time, he was auditioning guys in his bedroom. And two of the boys that he auditioned, one was a boy named Burgess, and the other one was Nat Gonella's young brother, Brutz. And Bill just sort of forced himself up in bed and listened to these musicians, despite the fact that the doctor said he was supposed to have quiet. I don't know what the neighbours thought of it.
Trumpeter Brutz Gonella, who continued the Armstrong tradition of Brother Nat. He was succeeded by Teddy Foster, who also adopted the style.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to swing for you one of them good old good ones. Yes, sir. We're going to play the St. Louis Blues, the St. Louis Blues. Look out there.
Boy, I hate to see that evening sun go down low. Now I hate to see that evening sun go down low. Just 'cause my baby gonna let me in this. A red-headed woman loves to keep a good man down. Lordy, 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 a red-headed woman loves to keep a good man down. Lordy, oh, baby, but a blonde-headed lady sends a good man out of.
1931 was a turning point in Bill Cotton's career. He took his band into the Alhambra Leicester Square. This was cine variety, and he was now Billy Cotton Stage Band. And Bill Cotton Jr.'s memory goes back to this period.
I'm not conscious of ever being taken to a dance hall to see the band when it played at the various venues that it used to work. I think really I remember being taken backstage at the theatre. I used to go out and bow for my father at one period of the game, I remember. I don't know how old I could have been, but when the curtain call came, I used to go and take the bow.
What persuaded him to change from being just a straight dance band to going into the stage?
I was always told by him that the reason he did it was because in those days he used to wear a tail suit. And he got fed up with people going past the bandstand and pulling his tails and saying, "Play Tiger Rag." So he put a pit band between him and the audience, and then they couldn't touch him. So I think he thought he was going to end up assault and battery eventually if he did it.
He was a big enough chap to do it. Who was in the band then? Can you remember?
Yes, I can remember most of them, I think. And, obviously Clem Bernard, who was my father's right-hand man. He really set the musical style of the band. And when he died, my father said of him, I have not lost an employee, I've lost a partner. Laurie Johnson, who is my cousin, who was with the band for a long time. I remember well Arthur Baker, who was the drummer, who was killed in Minesweepers during the war. Teddy Foster, Jack Doyle, Ernie Fern, Teddy Desmond, Frankie Kenyon, Chips Chippendale, Mickey Burberry, Joe White. I'm sure I've left out a lot of people, but basically...
That's a pretty good memory, isn't it?
Ellis Jackson, of course. And, of course, Alan Breeze.
Of course. And Ellis Jackson and Alan Breeze have a special place in the story. Jackson, who was acquired from the Noble Cecil Band, not only played trombone, but sang and danced, a great asset to a show band.
Oh, make 'em play that crazy thing again. I got to do that lazy swing again. Well, hey, ho. Let me do that new low down. Now, will you? I got my feet to misbehave, and now I got to say that's not for saving. Now, hey, ho. Doing the new low down. That dancing demon has my feet in a trance. 'Cause while I'm dreaming, boy, I'm dreaming. But I wanna dance. And once you've heard that haunting strain to it, I'd like to bet you go insane to it. Well, hey ho, I'm doing the new low down.
Jackson. And then there was Alan Breezy, who joined the band when, Alan?
1932, as a young and beautiful, slim young lad.
I bet you were, too. How did you come to do this? Did you do an audition for Bill?
Yes, that's right.
Now, I think he wanted you to sing Trees.
That's it.
In the act, didn't he?
Yes.
And you did?
Yes. And awfully operatic.
Awfully operatic.
Yes, shockingly operatic. Awfully straight,
Yes. Right, and you had to stand at the back of the stage and belt it out.
That's right. Right. Very, very loud.
Where did you get a big voice like this, Alan? You were boy soprano once?
Oh, yes, I was, yes.
Were you?
Yes.
I can't believe it, really.
And in the old days of 2LO, son, before your time, I'll tell you that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
yes.
by about 10 minutes.
Now, how long were you with Bill altogether? Can you remember? 32 to when?
68.
68. You did the last band shows, didn't you?
That's right, yes.
Well, that's
30. On the radio, it says.
That's right, yeah. That's 36 years.
36 years, my boy. Yes. Shocking, isn't it?
Which was the biggest one that you did, do you think?
Well, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Oh,
I sang it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times. And I'm still blooming while singing the thing.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. There they are standing in a row. Big ones, small ones, some as big as your head. Give 'em a twist, a flick of the wrist, that's what the showman said. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Not every ball you throw will make me rich. Oh, there stands me wife, the idol of me life, singing roll-a-bowl of all a penny a pitch. Singing roll-a-bowl of all a penny a pitch. Singing roll-a-bowl of all a penny a pitch. Oh, roll-a-bowl of all, singing roll-a-bowl of all a penny a pitch.
shillings a penny. Now, what you knock down, you take away. What about you, lady? Come on, have a basin full.
Oh, no, really, I couldn't possibly manage to...
Oh, go on, Mum, have a go. You didn't do so bad to the night when you threw frying pan at me dad.
Oh, yes, but that was different, you see. It was a large frying pan and your father's such a fat fella.
Now then, make up your mind, lady. Either you're going to have a go at the coconuts or you ain't going to have a go at the coconuts.
Now then, look here, young man.
You didn't do so bad to the night when you threw frying pan at me dad. Oh!
There you are. I told you you'd get it if you were saucy, didn't I?
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
They're lovely.
There they are, standing in a row.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Big one, small one, some as big as your head.
And bigger.
Give 'em a twist, a flick of a wrist, that's what the showman said.
Now then, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. And every ball you throw will make me rich. Oh, there stands me wife, the idol of me life, singing roll a ball, a penny a pinch. All together,
Singing roll a ball, a penny a pinch.
harmony.
Singing roll a ball, a penny a pinch.
Roll a ball,
Roll a ball,
singing roll a ball, a penny a pinch.
I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts, a famous performance by Alan Breeze and Bill Cotton, and typical of Bill's down-to-earth, direct Cockney heritage, something that was always reflected in his work. Dave Toff.
I think Bill Cotton was one of the first people to recognise the quality of British songs. And Bill was a great believer in British music before anybody else seemed to worry about it. BBC bands were playing all the American material, copying American records. But Bill Cotton was, 101% British.
Or, as Roy Rich put it in his tribute to Bill after he died,
I think his music came out of his personality. The Queen wasn't just the Queen to Bill Cotton. The Queen was the Queen, God bless her.
Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London so. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I think of her wherever I go. I get a funny feeling inside of me just walking up and down. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London town.
Aye, Willie, you got a rare voice there, and you're singing all about London town, aren't you?
Yes.
Aye, and a very proud man you must have been to be born there.
Yes.
I suppose you think London's the finest place on earth, do you?
Yes.
Oh, Darrow, man, have you ever been to Cardiff?
Yes.
Sure no, William, have you ever seen dear Dublin's fair city?
Yes.
And you still think that they're all London's the finest, eh?
Yes.
Well, now, tell me all about it, Bill, will you? Why do you think it's the finest, eh?
Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London so. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I think of her wherever I go.
Wherever you go, Bill.
I get a funny feeling inside of me just walking up and down. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London town. that I love London town.
Billy Cotton, Londoner and forever proud of it. As a stage act, the Cotton presentations were obviously compared with Hilton's and Payne's. Apart from the fact that Bill outlasted both of them by many years, there were other differences, as Bill Jr. points out.
Jack Hilton always used to say, he said, your father does for £5 what costs me 5,000. And his great thing was that he always used the minimum of props and costumes. And his idea was that it would be very much a band boy show rather than trying to make it into a big production. And he used to get, in many ways, a better effect than Hilton, because it was much this kind of more intimate effect, and you saw the people coming out of the band. I mean, no singer was allowed to operate, no male singer was allowed to operate, or any male performer was allowed to operate with the old man during his heyday, who came on from the wings. They all had to come out of the band. I mean, Alan Breeze is not a guitar player, but he had to have an instrument so that he came out of the band. And it was a great point my father always made, that if you do that, people are much more for you than if you come out in a different coloured jacket from the rest of the band and are putting yourself up in competition with a star singer.
And out of the band and the entourage of singers, Bill Cotton drew all the characters that graced his radio and TV shows and formed, if you'll recall, the Cotton Dramatic Society. The principal, Alan Breeze. Breezy, I've known you for a long time, and I suppose anybody who does know you knows that you have a stammer, right?
That's right, yes, I have, unfortunately.
So how did you get over explaining something to Bill when you wanted to
Oh, dear, oh, dear. I'd ask him, I'd say, Bill, what about? And he'd look at me and he'd say, Alan, for God's sake, sing it, son. Sing it, will you?
He was a sawmill proprietor, and she a fair maid yet unkissed. One evening he winked his squint eye at her, but she said,
No, sir, desist.
So he dragged her into the sawmill, poor wench, then took off his belt and strapped her to the bench.
And the great big saw came nearer and nearer and nearer and nearer and nearer.
Be me wife, or you will be cut in two, said the villain to poor little Vera. But she said,
Nay, though you money in banks, I wouldn't wed you if you cut me in length.
And the great big saw came nearer and nearer and nearer and nearer and nearer.
But ha-ha, look who's here, white young rancher Jim, 'tis her sweetheart, a burly sheep shearer. And he yells to the villain,
Hands off!
Well, get him. And the big saw comes nearer and nearer. Now the villain's removing his belt with a frown, and he's used it to strap down poor Vera. So when Jim says,
Hands up!
his trousers fall down, and the big saw comes nearer and nearer. Ah, then in comes the doctor, both handsome and young, which of course makes his peas a bit dearer.
Now let me feel your pulse. Now put out your tongue.
And the big saw comes nearer and nearer. But who is this? 'Tis the poor undertaker, poor bloke. He kneels down and he measures poor Vera.
Would you like to have it in helm or in hook?
And the big saw comes nearer and nearer.
Aber can nothing save her.
Poor Rancher Jim weeps.
No, nothing, the saw will soon shear her.
Then she hollers out,
Stop the machinery, you creeps!
which they do, and the future looks clearer.
Oh, the saw no more comes nearer and nearer and nearer and nearer and nearer.
wedding bells ding ding, for now Rancher Jim can marry his beautiful Vera. But after a year she's fed up.
Listen here, for goodness sake, next time, Jim, don't interfere.
When the great big saw comes nearer and nearer, and nearer and nearer, and nearer.
The so familiar cotton comedy material. The great big saw came nearer and nearer with Alan Breeze and the very much missed Rita Williams. But Bill was a man of very wide musical appreciation.
He could recognise very, very quickly good music on any level. As a conductor, for example, the late Cullum, who was the lead violinist for LSR, well, he used to play with my father, do sessions with him. And he once said to me, and he meant it, he said, had he had a better knowledge of music, he would have been a very great conductor. Because once he rehearsed the music, his interpretation as a conductor was very original and very much himself, and he made musicians play the way he wanted them to play. The song I always actually associate with him is Why Worry?
Yeah.
Which was one of those rather corny, sentimental type of things, but in actual fact, it was very much his philosophy, and he had this unbelievable gift of, if anybody was really worried, putting his arm around him and saying, "Come on, mate, to hell with them all, you'll be all right."
Why worry? Why worry? Worry gets you nowhere at all. When the sky is darkest, never despair. Find that silver lining, for there's always one there. For why worry? Why worry? Everything may be okay. Though you think that trouble's lying ahead, just forget to worry, count your blessings instead. So why worry? Why worry? Worry gets you nowhere at all. Why worry? Why worry? Worry gets you nowhere at all. When the sky is darkest, never despair. Find that silver lining, for there's always one there. Yes, some people worry over everything. How are they going to pay the rent? Who's going to tell Aunt Emily the spare room's occupied? They worry if they forgot to put the cat out last night. What the old man's going to say when he finds his best shirt hasn't come back from the laundry. Some people worry about walking under ladders, or the old nonsense of lighting 3 cigarettes with 1 match. And of course, everybody worries about what the butcher's going to dish out for the weekend. So what? Why worry? Why worry? Worry gets you nowhere at all. Nowhere at all.
For so many years, first on sound radio, Then, from the mid-50s on television, Bill Cotton with his stars, Breezy, Kathy Kay, Rita Williams and Grisha Farfield, and many guests like Alma Cogan, Russ Conway and Mrs. Mills, brought to an enormous weekend audience his humour and his music. The producer in the latter years of his TV shows, as we all know, was his son Bill Jr., and I asked him how Bill found the energy to perform all the material, particularly the dance routines.
He actually thoroughly enjoyed dancing, and the choreographer, a fellow called Leslie Roberts, who's a very, very, very good choreographer, but also had this marvellous ability of doing choreography for idiots, said, he couldn't understand at first how quickly he picked it up, and then when he realised that he'd been a professional footballer, he said, well, dancing is a matter of balance, and so is football, and if you apply the same kind of mind to it, you'll be all right. But I've seen him, stay behind in a rehearsal room with a head girl and say to her, go on, love, give us a half hour, just you and me, and we'll do it. I presume that's what they were doing, but they used to... Anyway, they were there for half hour, and he was dancing better at the end of it, so whatever they were doing, it was getting all right.
All right. Well, tonight, they're putting us on the record. And right away, I'm going on the record by telling you, here come those gorgeous silhouettes. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing.
La-di-da, whoa-ho-ho.
Now you're singing with a swing. Sing, 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 sing.
Everybody start to sing. La-di-da, whoa-ho-ho.
Now you're singing with a swing.
When the music goes around,
everybody goes to town.
but here's something you should know.
Ho, ho, baby, ho, ho, ho.
Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing. La-di-da, whoa-ho-ho. Now you're singing with a swing.
Sing, 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 silhouettes, come back and sing.
Won't you come home, Bill Cotton? Won't you come home?
Now when the music goes around, everybody goes to town. But here's something you should know. Ho, ho, baby, ho, ho, ho.
Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing. La-di-da, whoa-ho-ho. Now you're singing with a swing. Swing, 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 swing.
Wakey, wake! Give me my hat. Here, Johnson, you've had a good time shooting everybody this morning, haven't you? Pass me the band leader's friend. I'll do you a favour.
Oh, no.
Give us it here, now. There you are. Take that home and bathe it.
This evening, helping us to remember Bill Cotton and his music through more than 40 years, Sidney Lipton, Nat Gonella, Dave Toff, Alan Breeze, and Bill Cotton Jr.
The Golden Age of British Dance Bands is compiled and introduced by Alan Dell. Additional research was by Chris Ellis and Jeff Milne, and the production was by John Knight.